Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sportsport here on a Wednesday. And we have the Barnes, Tony, and Danny show today. What's going on, brother?
Not much, dude. Terrible Mets loss last night. Just go out and say that one, dude. But it is Wednesday, hump day, whatever. On to the next one, dude. So, yeah. All right. Still, I guess, kind of licking my wounds a little bit. But
yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely a brutal spot to be, especially just with the late start times. You have to wait all the way till later tonight for the game to start. Fortunately, the Yankees haven't had one of those losses in a little bit, but they are the absolute worst. But like I just said, the whole thing is you got to just win the next day. I mean, that's all you could do. So, we'll get into that. Yankees hanging on to beat the Guardians last night at the stadium. But I think, the big news, from yesterday, Tom Thibodeau relieved of his head coaching duties for the Knicks. For me, came as a little bit of a surprise. I know, certain big Knicks fans, maybe feel differently about that. But what was your thoughts on the Knicks letting Thibodeau go?
I mean, still a bit of shock, dude. No, it's funny because we were just talking about that and yesterday, and you were saying how like that's kind of a ridiculous move and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know, dude. It really is. I mean, I guess it depends on really what happens next, obviously. But I mean, I didn't expect it, I guess, at the end of the day. You do look at the body of work that he's done with the Knicks, and like, not for nothing, he did propel them to the Eastern Conference Finals from what was like somewhat of a laughable situation as an organization. So it's like, it does seem like this unfair sort of thing. But then, I mean, people talk about how Thibs seemed like that type of coach and has been that coach that never really got it done. And that wouldn't, would be able, if you look at each one of his teams, that, they do improve, but they never make it to the finals or win the finals, I should say. Right. So it's like, I don't know. I guess maybe the Knicks just think that, they want to strike while the iron is hot in terms of their players and what's going around on the league, I guess. And they think that they can get another coach that can bring them to the finals and win it like now, I guess, right? Like that must be their thought process.
Listen, I'm not, watching the full 48 minutes every game here, but I just have a tough time thinking that like basically to me, this move screams that they think if there was a different coach in place this season that they would have like won the championship.
Right.
Basically, or obviously made it to the NBA Finals. And I don't think that's it. I just, I think that they need, and actually I was just talking about this with Danny over at Manny's, got my haircut before this. He's a big Knicks fan. And he was just saying, like I'm saying right now, that you just need better defense. I mean, I think that's what it is. And, even if you do trade Giannis, you're going to gut the team. You don't have the draft capital for it. So he was like almost alluding to the fact that he thinks they might go back to their old ways, which would obviously be tough. But that's, and then like, who are you going to bring in? And I forgot what assistant, they were thinking about. And I saw in the, chat with JD that they were talking about Jason Kidd or Udoka. But it's just, I don't know. I think, like I said, I think if he had a different team, he would get different results. I don't think it's like you could bring in any coach and that they would have just like won the championship and things would have been completely different. Because at the end of the day, the players play the game. And I know people talk about the minutes, but I think it kind of goes on to, I've mentioned this before, but Leon Rose, who we brought in off the bench. I mean, I don't think this was a good bench unit, and that's on him. And you could find those guys. So to think that, it's like, oh no, different coach would have been different results. I don't know. To me, it seems short-sighted.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, you don't think there's not much of a like stake in that argument where it's like Thibs is never going to be that type of coach to win you a final?
How many coaches are?
Well, not a lot, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, does it seem like that Thibs is going to be that coach though?
I think he is in a group of coaches that is definitely good enough to win a title. Because, like I'm just alluding to, there's only a select few that actually do.
Mhm.
And you have to have the horses at the end of the day.
So what would be their next move, dude?
Well, I mean, I forgot what assistant they were.
Johnny Bryant.
Oh, right. And did he used to play? I don't. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but
Johnny Bryant. Coach, basketball coach, head coach, Cavs. Played college basketball for Utah.
And he's in consideration. Okay, because it would almost seem like, they were saying too to make this move right now that like you would pretty much know who the coach is going to be. And obviously he would make sense because he's already on the staff. So, it's interesting, what they're going to do. I mean, I haven't really heard too much about it. But, Michael Malone, is a guy that I think, talk about somebody who's won a title. He's out there as well. So listen, we'll see. I guess, Tony, you could say it'll be fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, needless to say, Brian, fascinating. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting hearing the different types of callers calling the ESPN radio yesterday. Like, even some woman called in and was like, "Yo, like, well, how did this even like happen so quick? Like we just lost. Like they haven't even gotten over. Actually, I was like, I haven't gotten over like losing.
Right.
To Indiana, and
Right.
we're firing Thibs right now. Like, geez." So it's crazy, and it is. I mean, it does seem like there is a lot of mixed feelings and opinions coming from some of these Knicks fans, and obviously like sportscasters alike. It seems like some people are in favor of the firing, some people aren't. And I think it is going to make for, I guess, like you say, Brian, a fascinating season for the Knicks. Because in reality, like, I mean, I guess we're not going to know, if this was a good or bad decision for an entire year. A lot of people talking about, what's his name? Leon Rose trying to cover up like
his warts.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess, it is what it is at that point. I mean, this is what he's trying to do here. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tough, dude. Like I said, I guess we really won't know until next year.
Yeah. No, I mean, Rick and Dave mentioned that several times. Like, you're going to look back in a year and say it was a great move or it was a terrible move.
You're on the side of terrible move?
I think I'm in between, but I just think you didn't need to do it. You just need to build a better roster. There's no way that like, and is it just me? Am I missing something? Is he not playing the starters the minutes that they're playing is because the bench was terrible? Like, is that like, am I missing something there? Like, other than Mitch, who can't make a free throw, or I know, ended up doing a little better down the stretch, but who was like, oh my God, off the bench, we got to have this guy in the game. Like,
yeah, really, nobody.
So that's I know sometimes I look at things simplistically, but that's just kind of what I feel.
You're a simple man.
Well, it's either as Matt would say, it's either beat or it's great. There's no in between. But I do see we have a bunch of comments. A Michael Bukta.
Yeah, dude. Michael Bukta is
batting leadoff.
Yeah, I guess you could say he's batting leadoff.
Slept in yesterday.
Did he? Oh yeah, I guess so. We were
texted
on
me
early
after the show,
apologizing,
this and that.
Wow, did you accept the apology?
Oh, I mean, of course, it's
yeah,
Michael.
Come on.
Yeah.
So here we go, dude. Michael says, Tony, what happened in the 9th inning last night? He wants to say
you this is gonna be like a me and Kev do situation sooner than
well, because this is like honestly
he's getting like. This is like when he said, like, "Oh, just me be on vacation all year." Honestly.
Yeah, literally.
That's
like,
the point.
I think maybe Bukta should take vacation for a while, dude.
Yeah.
He really, and he's asking. Remember, no one in the crew is responsible for why Nimmo can't catch a baseball. I mean, listen, Michael. You better watch what you're saying because, like, I mean, come June 12th, like, you're just gonna see your dad and your uncle. Like, you're not gonna see me at all, dude.
And if you do see Tony, I mean, there's a chance, Michael. You might have to brace for a headlock.
And he says he was late night contacting Ernie and Barnes 1:20, dude.
As Barnes was sleeping.
I was just saying, you were an
hour.
Dude.
Yeah, I did see it in the morning, though. You know what it was about?
What?
Just take a guess. No. Nimmo.
June 12th. Oh, was it really?
Of course.
Oh
of course.
my god.
Yeah. No,
dude.
he's getting. He's really getting.
He's
getting Matt Ryan.
Honestly, yeah, you should stick to the Lakers, dude. The Doncic photo. Stick to Hurley. Like, come on, Mike.
And listen, not saying that it's not giving me a chuckle, but I just know how you're feeling about it, Tony. You know?
Yeah, dude. Not good. Josh B says, what up, fam, dude? We got John Pollock in the house saying, oi.
Oy, baby.
And then dude says, what's going on with the smoke? I got mixed feelings about the Thibs being let go. You and a lot of other people, no doubt. We have Yearney in the house, dude.
You know what was funny? I know you'd get a kick out of this.
Would I really?
I popped in. I guess I was on the way back from the golf tournament, and we were just, randomly just talking about a bunch of stuff after JD's show was over. And then, got started on the whole Yankee thing. And I kind of like JD, I think, was kind of lauding me. I kind of put it to rest with Kev, but he said this before, but he's trying to say, like, you don't remember any of those championships. And I'm like, Kev, like, do I need to be 20 years old when the Yankees win? Like, I don't remember 96, but like, I remember 98 on. And it was just like this funny conversation. And I was like, dude, you act like you're like 50 years older than me. It's like, you're not that much older. So it was just your typical back and forth. I know I kind of broke my own rules. But listen, sometimes, people need to be put in their place.
Yeah.
Like, that
Michael
Mets
Buckner?
fan in Michael Buckner's sports chat that's trying to tell me the Mets bullpen is better. And it's like, sorry, bud. Not gonna happen.
All right. And then we got, what else do we have? Kev Do saying, what up, Buckta, Yearney. Ernie says, you effing puppy. This is to John Pollock. How the hell are you? John Pollock, not good shambles, he says, after last night's loss to the White Sox.
Hey, I mean, you could lean on Tony. He's experienced that recently, right? Losing to the White Sox. I'm saying you know how to just move on. Next game. What happened next game? You beat the Dodgers.
Bring up at that time. Yeah, no, that's right, dude. Yeah, that's right.
No, it was the Rockies. My bad. But either way, you won the game.
What are you doing here today? Honestly, what are you doing?
What are we talking about? No. I mean, if you want to say that, I mean, go ahead.
Michael Theophil loving the haircut, by the way.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael got one of his own last night as well.
Oh, there we go.
And then did you win the fish tournament, the golf tournament?
Didn't win the golf tournament, but did win the long drive.
Oh, there we go, dude. What do you get for that?
So gift card to the pro shop. I don't know how much it is, but I'll have to check it out. But we measured it out, using like the Grant app and stuff. And it was basically, call it 288 off the tee. So I was happy with that.
Very nice, dude. And then Ernie says you look very mannish.
Ernie loves his like certain words and comments, but appreciate it, Ernie.
Yeah, of course, a compliment, at the very least of it, dude. Then Josh B hyped Buckta June 12th, question mark. Yes,
I think Buckta went to go get a snack or something, right?
Yeah, I guess so, dude.
We mentioned him a couple times, and we're not hearing anything.
Hasn't said
but he's gonna say something
right
now,
dude.
You know that's happening, and then Pollock saying hi to you.
So I
guess he wants to lean on you for the White Sox.
Yes, dude. You can obviously lean on me, dude. I mean, there's greener pastures are ahead, dude. Don't worry.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And obviously, I mean, we can both agree. Despite that loss, his Tigers are well positioned at the moment. Most wins in the majors. So I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Tough, dozing, everything. I mean, 4.5, 5 for you last night, Tony?
Oh, my God, forget it. I mean, the past, it just hasn't been like a good week for sleep.
Tiffany's this morning or no?
No, I haven't had any coffee, dude, actually. Man. So that's definitely a little bit of it, but it's fine. Did Tiffany's yesterday, though.
What'd you get?
We got iced coffee, French vanilla with
French
the cinnamon
vanilla. What'd you think?
It's good, dude. I don't know if I really enjoy the cinnamon like that much, like that,
It's interesting. I feel like I don't think it's like strong or anything. Like I don't think it like changes the flavor that much. Like
no, it doesn't. The flavor is good, but I just feel like I don't know. Towards the end of it, just got like a funny taste, dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end, what was 4 hours?
No.
Got the coffee or
again, like iced coffee. I don't have to drink it fast, so I unfortunately I drink in like 10 minutes.
Okay,
because I'm like, I got some milk.
I actually tried the pistachio this morning. At first, I was like, I don't know.
Oh wait, so how'd that go? Did you go in and say what?
She said, oh no, because it depends which one it is. The more talkative one. Not Tiffany, but kind of looks like her. I don't know if it's her sister or whatever. But she just like, iced coffee. And she's like, large, right? And I'm just like, oh yeah, could I just try the pistachio? And she's like, you don't want cinnamon, though, right? And I'm like, no, put the cinnamon on there. So that part ended up working out good, luckily. Packed house this morning. Of course. I think it was 7:30 or something.
Classic. But prime time.
And
Morning
so
rush.
at first I was like, this kind of weird flavor. But then as the coffee kind of set in. I thought it was pretty good. I would still say, though, the Simply Nutty combination is probably as good as you're going to get. But, yeah, great place.
Well, it was nice that you tried it, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll probably give it another try. I mean, limited time, that type of thing.
Try everything twice type of guy.
But, there is a lot to get to. And I guess first, since it's Wednesday, we'll start with the Canadien Open here. RBC Canadien Open coming to you from Toronto, the TBC Toronto at Osprey Valley. Short course, under 7,000 yards. You don't see that much, 6,966. And you look at, recently how this tournament has played out, and obviously a different course every year. So I don't know how much you could really go by that, but it seems like for whatever reason, these Canadian courses, and I don't know, I know like I've seen a couple and it seems like a lot of like wide open fairways would be the reason for this, but it seems like the winners always are pretty well under par. You had Bob Mack last year at 16 over at Hamilton. Nick Taylor, we remember watching that playoff, the 60-foot putt to become the first Canadian in 80 years, 90 years to win the tournament. 17 under at Oakdale. Rory won his second Canadian Open at St. George's at 19 under in 2022. 2019, because he didn't play in 21 and 22, he won it at 22 under, a 7-shot dominant victory then over at Hamilton. And then DJ, 23 under, bless you, at Glen Abbey back in 2018. So, history's shown that the winner will be pretty well under par. The purse for this one, $9.8 million, a tournament all-time high. And the winner, a tournament all-time high, $1.764 million. So not bad for a non-signature event. And the scoring record here, Rory McIlroy, 258 back in 2019. So, like I said, the scores have been trending in the right direction. That's for sure. And in terms of who is playing in this field, and we already mentioned his name, your top ranked golfer in the field coming in at number 2 in the world, Rory McIlroy. You got Ludwig Gobert, number 8, Shane Lowry, number 12, Justin Rose, who's had a great year up to this point. Looking for that win, though. He's number 19. Bobby Mack looking to defend here at 20. Corey Connors, a Canadian, at 21. Sungjae Im at 22. Wyndham Clark at 23. Nick Taylor, a former champ, at 32. And then you have Sam Burns at 33. Thomas Dietrich at 34. Taylor Pendrith at 36. And not to mention, some other notable names in this field, which is pretty big, so it's going to be interesting. A lot of Canadians, obviously, and we've mentioned how Mike Weir is playing, and I'm sure he'd love nothing more to compete at this event, but we'll have to see. So kind of a wide open field, some star power at the top. What are we thinking here, Tony?
It's tough, dude. I mean, the short course, I know a lot of people have Rory favorited there, but I mean, I think you kind of take his great driving out of the equation, because it's a shorter course. So I don't know, dude. I think I'm going to go with Shane Lowry, to be honest. I know he's had some blow-ups, this season. But regardless, I mean, 4 top 10 finishes. He's been somewhat in the conversation at most tournaments, dude. I mean, if you look at the results he's had this season, not many cuts. One coming at the PGA, and then the first one was at the Farmers to start the year. So it's not like he's been really missing the cut often. And like I said, multiple top 10 finishes this year. I think he can get the job done here. Just keeps it, somewhat under control. What's on top of his shoulders here. So I don't know. I say Shane Lowry takes this one. I like the lower scores. It does seem to happen historically. And I guess I'll go at 18 under for Lowry to win this one. And then for a sleeper, I'm going to pick a Canadian, obviously, maybe not so obviously, but I guess I'll go with Nick Taylor. Did you say you won this tournament before? Who was that?
That was Nick Taylor.
That was Nick Taylor.
You remember watching.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think, again, Canada, great job there. No different course each year. Doesn't matter, though. The dude's playing for his country. Has 3 top 10 finishes this season as well as well as a win this season. So, I mean, he's had a pretty solid year, and I think he can do all right. I'd say, I don't know, maybe I'm 16 under if it's him right there.
All right. So what I'm going to do is go with Gobert.
Really?
Been a up and down year. Obviously won at Torrey Pines at the Genesis. But looking for another win. Obviously this is in preparation of next week's United States Open. And what a better way to get ready for that. Chance to go back to back possibly. But I think Gobert has a week, one of the best weeks of his career here. I'm going to say he finishes at 21 under par, winning by 4. And then on the other side of things, if I had to go with a sleeper here, I am going to go with another Canadian. We're going to go Nikolai Hogard.
Wow.
Number 99 in the world right now, but the Canadian has definitely stepped up depending on the event. And I think if he were to win, it's at 16 under par. So coverage will get underway tomorrow on ESPN Plus 6:45, and then on Golf Channel starting at 3 to 6. So going to be interesting, for the people who are playing, definitely a nice warm up here, friendly course before you get into the real nitty gritty of the U.S. Open, the stimp meter, the rough over at Oakmont. That's going to be nuts. Definitely excited for that, but we'll have the Canadian Open between now and then. And it always, seems to have a dramatic finish, which makes it more exciting. What else we got here?
John Pollock says he's taking Rose to win.
There we go. I love that pick. Rose has had a resurgent year, and he is close.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he would love for it to be at a major championship, but at this point, he'll take any win he can get.
Absolutely. And also says Brian and Tony are coffee experts.
We know a thing or two.
Chiming in says definitely the type to have favorite baristas, LMAO.
Honestly, I could see Tony being like that, but I guess you know what it is. I recently, before I like settled on Tiffany's, I've really went to more like places that have multiple locations, not the same barista, Ernie. So I never really had a favorite barista. But I think all the girls at Tiffany do a good job. Right or no?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's some that make better coffees than others. But I wouldn't say I have.
You want something to eat, or you got something to eat?
I also don't think I've ever referred to anyone as a barista before. Honestly,
even at Starbucks.
Even at Starbucks, dude.
No, I know. I would. And last time you mentioned that, I would probably forget the word even existed. Tony. That's for sure. So yeah, we'll give you a leaderboard update tomorrow from Canada. But let's go now to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Too deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
Yankees win. Yes, indeedy. So the Yankees win here, 3-2, and obviously that was a shout out to John Sterling. Love that call, Didi. But Yankees win 3-2 over the Guardians to win their 18th game, the previous 24 opportunities. So obviously playing good baseball now. 37 up, 22 down, 19-9 at Yankee Stadium, and have a 6.5 game lead here in the American League East over both the Rays and the Blue Jays. Carlos Rodon has been absolutely on fire, giving the Yankees 7 strong innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, ERA down to 2.49, and he is now 8-3 on the season. And I mean, it's just absolutely, I would say this is the best Carlos Rodon has pitched since he's been on the Yankees. So in this game specifically, setting the tone early on, good mix of the fastball and the changeup, the slider, really doing a good job, changing zones. And that fastball up in the zone was definitely hard to hit. That's for sure. And what really I think made the difference in this game is first inning. After getting Stephen Kwan to ground out, Rodon gives up 2 singles to Martinez and Jose Ramirez, and Martinez, a little fleet of foot, able to, go first to third, plus Jose Ramirez still second. So you got second and third, 1 out. First inning, we've seen like that Dodger game on Saturday, how situations like that can get out of hand rather quickly. But he hones in to strike out David Fry on a fastball up in the zone for the second out of the inning. And he also gets Carlos Santana on a slider down and away to get out of that inning. So that's what we've seen Carlos Rodon navigate all season long. Yankees offensively definitely got off to a slow start in this one. Tanner Bybee, obviously one of the better pitchers in the league, got off to a hot start, struck out the side in the first. Rodon strikes out 2 of the 3 batters in the second to go 1-2-3 again. And then Bybee, retires the Yankees in the order in the second. Third inning, Rodon, another strikeout, another 1-2-3 inning. Bottom third, Yankees go through the lineup yet again, without putting anything across. And then top 4, another 1-2-3 inning for Rodon, picking up another strikeout. So really, keeping this Guardians lineup, off balance, really the entire game. Fourth inning, Yankees get their first base runner on a Judge walk, but unfortunately, Cody Bellinger follows out to the catcher to end that inning. Fifth inning, another 1-2-3 inning, another strikeout of Arias. So 5 scoreless for Rodon to start this game. Bottom 5, Yankees finally on the board. Goldschmidt grounded out to start the inning, but Jazz Chisholm Jr., we mentioned, first game back off the injury list, first game back since April. Singles, gets a bloop single to left. Anthony Volpe lines out, so you got runner on first, 2 outs. But JC Escarra works a walk, so you got Jazz on second, and DJ LeMahieu, Tony, a single to right, a patented 2019 DJ LeMahieu type of hit here. Jazz scoring from second there. And because of his speed, was in there early in time. But you think about a slower runner might have been out. So the value of speed definitely paying dividends there. And then Trent Grisham reaching on an error, but Ben Rice grounds out to end the inning, even though, you had second and third there, but unable to get any more across. Rodon yet another 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. And I think, too, with his last starts through the 6th inning, it was like 21 straight scoreless innings, which is obviously outstanding. Bybee, who pitched well, had another 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. 7th inning, Rodon runs into a little bit of trouble. Jose Ramirez, with a single, and then David Fry also with a single to right. A ball that it felt like LeMahieu maybe should have got a glove on. We saw 2 of those. So even though he's hitting well, I think definitely some questions about the defense. He gets Santana to the lineup for the first out. Arias singles to center. But then because Trent Grisham bobbles the ball, he tries to push it for a double. And fortunately, Grisham throws him out. He walks Wilson. But then gets Naylor to fly out. So he gets through 7 innings, a little bad luck there in the 7th to lose the shutout. But fortunately for him, the Yankees back him up in the bottom of the 7th. Jazz Chisholm Jr., homer to right, knew it right off the bat, 358 feet to right. So that gives the Yankees a 2-1 lead. And then Anthony Volpe, a little back-to-back, belly-to-belly here. Homer to left, 372 feet, gives the Yankees a 3-1 lead. Escarra lines out. That would be it for Bybee. So he gives them 6 1/3, 3 earned. They go to Kobe Allard, the former Texas Ranger, and he gets LeMahieu and Grisham to fly out. Mark Leiter Jr. in to pitch the 8th inning. And obviously, we talked about everybody moving up in the pecking order here. You got Cruz back, but Weaver on the injured list. He gets Nolan Jones to fly out, walks Stephen Kwan, but then gets Martinez and Ramirez to line out and ground out respectively. So you go to bottom 8 with a 3-1 lead. Yankees looking to add in the bottom of the 8th here. Rice grounds out, but then Aaron Judge gets walks, but then gets caught stealing. Cody Bellinger 2-out single, but then Goldschmidt flies out. So 3-1 going to the top of the 9th. And Devin Williams in the ERA over 10 in the 9th inning. And unfortunately, that trend continues here because he gets Manzaro to fly out, but then has I believe it was a 9-pitch at bat with the grizzled vet there, Carlos Santana. Yeah, 9-pitch at bat.
9.
And he swings at a ball that looked, 2 up out of the strike zone, but he gets a double kind of hit right in between the outfielders. So runner on second, 1 out. You got Shenman pinch hitting for Wilson, and he hits a ball again. I mean, would have been a tough play. Could he have at least knocked it down? Probably. But LeMahieu doesn't field the ball. So run comes in. So, you got it's 3-2 Yankees, 2 outs, Bo Naylor up. And fortunately, Devin Williams, after going, 7 pitches into the at-bat, gets him to fly out on a changeup. So, like I said, Yankees win. Williams holds on for his 6th save. Maybe some bad luck in that inning for Williams, but I, was talking about this with you guys before the show. And I just feel like, it's always something with Williams in the 9th inning. He threw 30 pitches that inning, 22 strikes, but so many balls fouled off. And I just feel like if you're a closer, you're pitching in big games. I mean, you got to be able to finish off these batters, and not being able to finish off Santana really almost came back to bite here. It's just always something. And I know Boone was very deflective, after the game, saying that, beginning of the season, he could have pitched any inning and his numbers would have looked like that. And it's not a 9th inning thing. But hard to not think, with an ERA, over 10, Tony, that it's not a 9th inning thing, for Devin Williams, even though you could argue, okay, LeMahieu maybe knocks it down, different story, this and that. But he has opportunities to put these batters away, and he didn't. And he left the game hanging in the balance for a little bit.
Why do you think that is, though? Do you think it's mental?
Of course, it's mental. But also, you know what it is too? I feel like sometimes it is difficult to be a closer when you don't have that plus fastball, because his changeup's great, the movement's outstanding, but you still just don't. When you really need it, you can't go 98, 99 up in the zone. I feel like that's just such a weapon to have. And to have a changeup, maybe, you get into a deeper count, you throw the changeup a bunch of times. Okay, you don't want the guy timing it. Then you go to the fastball, but your fastball up in the zone instead of being 98, it's 94. And that's why Carlos Santana gets the double there. So that's just kind of my thought. And Mark Leiter Jr. has gotten a couple saves for us this year. Obviously pitched well in the 8th. But personally, I would like, either him, Fernando Cruz, who probably has the best stuff, or Jonathan Loaizaga. But Cruz would be my bet, to pitch the 9th. I know, again, I mentioned this yesterday, Yankees are going to give Williams every opportunity here to be the closer while Weaver is out. But my bet, would be Fernando Cruz. I mean, his stuff, that splitter, is unbelievable. So, conversation for another day, and that day might be today because, after 30 pitches, 3 appearances in 4 days, Devin Williams will not be pitching in tonight's game. So if there is a save opportunity, most likely it will go to Cruz or Loaizaga. They probably will stay away from Leiter as well. So just something to keep in mind. But I mean, I don't know if you think any differently, but I just don't think there could be a coincidence when a guy's ERA is in the 2s, whatever it is, in the 8th inning, and that's a 10 in the 9th, and how those two things wouldn't correlate.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like you said, I mean, you have, better pieces, or right now, better looking pieces that you could use in the 9th. So let's check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think the options are there. So that's a good thing. And I had to say, what got me really pumped up for this game was Jazz making the impact right off the bat.
I was going to ask,
and like I had mentioned yesterday, talking with Corey, he was really pumped to get back to the Bronx, and it was just ironic. He's talking about hitting home runs and not using the torpedo bat anymore. And he does just that when he comes back. Made a nice play at third base early in this game, picked it, strong throw. And then the speed to score from second on that single. I just feel like there's so much value in Jazz Chisholm, and especially because he's been injured. You're playing a lot of guys that, let's face it, don't have a ton of talent right now. You could argue, maybe LeMahieu, if he's healthy, he's a pretty good hitter, but they don't have the athletic ability, the raw ability that Jazz Chisholm Jr. has. So I just think he's vital to their success, because that speed is so valuable to have on the team. If he's hitting and he's able to utilize that speed, And then you think about his defense. I mean, sure, maybe he's a little bit of a loose cannon, but if he really gets things together, straightens out his act, I think he's going to be a very important part of this team.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, dude. The guy's explosive. We've seen it before.
Yeah. So be interesting to see, what they do with LeMahieu, because he is hitting. His average is now up to 245. But it just
Trade him.
The lack of range there at second base just really, really concerns me. But I'm sure they're going to keep running him out there for the time being. But I think as we get closer to the trade deadline, we'll get more of an answer, in that regard. And then Carlos Rodon, I mean, he is pitching himself, into the Cy Young conversation, in the way he started his Yankee tenure, to have this type of comeback story. I mean, I feel like it's just unbelievable. And you look at it, the Yankees have won his last 4 starts. And also, I mean, his last, 4 starts, he's pitched 25 innings and given up 1 run, and he has 31 strikeouts. So I mean, about as good as you could get. And him being that strong number 2 starter behind Max Fried is so important, to this team's success. So a lot to be excited about. And I'm excited for another game tonight, same time, 7:05. And tonight we're going to get Clark Schmidt pitching for the Yankees. And I think, anyway, it looks like he's headed in the right direction. He's now 2-2, 3.95. And he's going to be opposed by Luis Ortiz, 2-6, 4.40. Yankees are minus 185 in this one. And, Schmidt, like I said, I think things have been trending in the right direction. So I kind of just look for him to get off to a hot start, kind of go from there. I know he was disappointed the way things went, in Colorado 2 starts ago, but I think he rebounded well against the Angels last time, 6 scoreless innings. So looking to build off of that. And his pitch counts have been rising in these starts as well, as he kind of makes up for lost time. So, like I said, excited for that. Let's keep going. Let's keep building this lead in the American League East. And you're taking advantage of the teams there really not thriving. I know Toronto's been hot before losing yesterday. But then I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw this. Alex Cora kind of calling out the team.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So they lost again to the Angels. They've lost the first 2 games of that series. And I think are 2-8 in their last 10 games. And he said something like, I'm trying to pull up the exact quote, but my computer's lagging. But he said something like, or actually, is it right here? Cora irked as Bo Sox fall again. Not getting better was the direct quote.
Oh.
And there was a lot of expectations in that team. I'm sure Red Sox fans are getting a little restless. But I mean, what do you think about those type of comments? I mean, is that the right way to go, or do you think that's something that kind of is controversial in the locker room?
I mean,
500 right now, 10 back, 2-8 in their last 10.
I don't know. I feel like maybe for a younger team, I think it does work well. I mean, you have some guys who haven't experienced this type of I guess maybe level of play or obstacles that they're facing or something like that, and you're just trying to get the boys fired up. You're just trying to be vocal and let them understand. I mean, obviously it's much more about what you say in the locker room as well as to the media. I mean, if you justify these statements to your locker room, to your clubhouse, then it makes sense. Which again, I mean, it seems like Cora would be the type of guy to do that. So I don't mind the statements. Why you think it's a bad move?
I don't know. I mean, just things aren't going right now, and I don't know. I don't know if that really helps. I just feel like, especially with clubhouses, is the best thing not really to keep everything internalized. I mean, what do you owe the media? Why do you need to let them inside? What's exactly going on?
Yeah,
that's
I guess
not
so.
a priority.
No, I mean, again, if it is, you're trying to show your clubhouse what's up,
Yeah. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like things are heading in the right direction. And also they're talking about, I think Coney was talking about it on Sunday Night Baseball, but just those prospects like Tristan Campbell's got off to a slow start, and like Ceddanne Rafaela, maybe hasn't been the player that you'd hope he would be. Houck's been inconsistent. So, there was expectations for these guys, and I know they haven't seen Roman Anthony yet. But I don't know. it almost seems like, we're getting to a point where who knows when, but that, Alex Cora might not be the long-term manager there. I mean, you already look at it, and it's already been, 7 years since that title in 2018. And it just seems like since they lost to the Rays in the 2021 ALCS, that things have been just headed in the wrong direction. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, I welcome, the chaos there and the disappointment, and look forward to seeing it in person on Saturday. But definitely just an interesting story because it's a team that had a lot of expectations heading into the season. So we'll see. Something to keep an eye out. And fascinating, as we would say, right, Tony?
Yeah, dude.
And unfortunately for you, I mean, we had to get to it at some point. Got to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
A highly disappointing loss last night in Chavez Ravine for the New York Mets.
A tough loss here in extras yet again, Brian. So many of these games going the distance, 10 innings. This one was a 6-5 loss here to the Dodgers, which, obviously, listen, you could sit here, you could say, well, it's the Dodgers. They're one of the favorites from the World Series. They've been a team that's haven't gotten over that hump and whatever, dude. But to lose in the fashion that you did is really unfortunate.
Gut-wrenching.
Yes, it is. Gut-wrenching, hair-pulling, whatever you want to say, dude. It is what it is right there. And this really was also a great game, to be honest, dude. Again, trying to stay up for it, dozing in and out, dude. It was just a classic.
Looks like you're still watching it right now, right?
Honestly, dude, I feel like it right now. But it was like one of those classics, like just like trying to fight, falling asleep, dude. But we all know who wins.
Next time, I think I'm going to surprise you, Tiffany's no sugar, and just see what happens. A little boost, like before the show.
At 10 p.m.? Oh, I think you're saying at 10 p.m. Dude.
No, not at 10 p.m. before this show. Make it a little easier on you.
Oh, dude. But we had McGill in the mound against Kershaw, and we know how both of these guys' season has been going, which is why we were talking about, hitting the over, lots of runs scored. And we did get some runs scored in the first inning, a ton of runs actually. Started first off by the Mets. You had Pete Alonso, who got a nice RBI single, his 41st RBI, I think, is what I wrote down. In any case, Alonso, the only person here in the Mets lineup hitting well with runners in scoring position. I think he's at like 320 now. 320.
That's pretty good.
Yes, RISP average is very
all
good
about
here.
The RISP.
All about that. But Marte, who singled to right, ended up moving over to second on a wild pitch. Put him in scoring position. Alonso was able to bring him in. So 1-0 early on. You're kind of thinking, all right, Kershaw, classic. He's just not ready right now. The injury is still coming back. Hittable stuff. I think he's like 23 strikeouts away from 3,000, by the way. So I'm sure he's itching to get that. And he did get one of them. We struck out Nimmo to end the inning there, but you're up 1-0 for McGill. You feel pretty good, dude. And then you feel even better when McGill paints a corner, struck out Ohtani to start off the bottom of the first, which was honestly kind of an arguable call. I think it was kind of outside the strike zone, but it's still called looking, dude. But then Mookie Betts, first game in a week with a fractured toe. First at bat here, ropes a single to right. And then we had Freeman up after him, who ropes a double to right. This is where kind of, I guess you really can't blame McGill here. But he ropes one to right field here. Cutoff throw by McNeil. Caught, dropped. Betts scores because of that. So they did score a fielding error by McNeil. So it was technically a double, even though Freeman went to third. But obviously not good here. Dodgers tied up at 1. You have Freeman on third with 1 out. And then what do you know? A 6-pitch at bat ends in a walk for Kike Hernandez. Runners on the corners here. Smith goes out to third. Freeman scores on that. Ronnie Mauricio, who did get the start at third last night, Brian. I know I didn't mention that before, but they did get called up. Vientos, we know. Mauricio, we'll get to him actually in a second, though. But hey, looked pretty calm and cool at third base defensively, so that was kind of nice.
There you go.
We've seen Vientos have some kerfuffles, to say the least, this season. But in any case, that grind out RBI made it 2-0, and then Max Muncy, dude. And you were talking about him yesterday, the clutch hits. Four-seamer over the middle. Muncy was sitting fastball, and it was honestly like, it was almost in the same spot as Ohtani's home run the other night, off of Kranick, to be honest. The second hit the bat, you knew it was absolutely gone. Crushes a 2-run homer, makes it 4-1 just like that, dude. Paez, though, grounds out in the first. Paez, dude. So, you're kind of like, Jesus Christ, McGill. Give up 4 runs in the first inning, especially with the way his starts were. I mean, just not good at all. Worst case scenario, no doubt about that. They both pitchers get through the second inning pretty much unscathed here. We can go really, I guess, to top of the third here. We have Lindor lead off single, and then when you know it here, Marte got up to the pitcher first, Lindor goes to second, and then Juan Soto takes Kershaw yard, 91-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball, middle, basically. He ropes that to right center. Don't let him get hot. It's 5 straight games with extra base hits here.
And he smiles.
Yes, actually. Smiles.
Most you've seen as a bat?
Yes, hands down.
There you go.
And that was compounded, actually, because the following inning, I believe, or maybe it was maybe the bottom of the 4th? Foul out to right, maybe? Yes, that was it. Yes, Smith foul out to right. This was a foul ball. Soto reaching over the wall. I don't know if you saw, but ran. Honestly, I was a little worried at first because he ran into the wall pretty hard.
Like
whoa, like straight, like ribs exposed, but caught the ball. Smiles afterwards, feeling pretty good. And again, I mean, I think this was definitely the highest I've seen Soto mentally. On
you
the
think he was chilling with Jazz
dude.
before?
Maybe, dude. Actually, I mean, a couple of them hitting the pipe, the one hitter, before the game, in the locker room.
I think he doesn't seem like a pipe hitter, or no?
No, I think he would.
Yeah.
What, you talking Jazz or Soto?
Soto.
Yeah, I think Soto would.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I think just all business. Like, I don't know.
Just straight.
I think he's just like water and chicken.
Plain chicken, dude. Non-season chicken. In any case,
I can't do that.
The 2-run homer made it a 1-run game for 3. Bang. And we'll now fast forward top of the 5th. This was the last inning here for Kershaw. He starts off by having McNeil out to right, but then walks Lindor. Marte grounds out into a fielder's choice. Lindor's safe at second because Max Muncy blew it. Classic, like through the 5-hole. Glove wasn't down enough.
The old 5-hole.
The old 5-hole, dude. Soto popped out to short with runners in scoring position. Kind of tough. He thought maybe he wanted to do more. But nonetheless, dude, Alonso, I mentioned the RISP average. Double to center, scoring Lindor. Marte moves on to third, ties the game. Nimmo reaches an infield single to first. Freeman played it. Kershaw came over to the bag, kind of slow, called him out initially, challenged Nimmo, safe by a fucking mile, by the way. I don't know why they called him out to begin with. But that ended Kershaw's night. So you had, 5 2/3? I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. Doesn't really matter. 5 earned runs. Not great for Kershaw, nonetheless. But they bring in Kasparius, dude, to get Taylor to line out, ending the inning 5-4. So you feel pretty good, dude. McGill even goes in bottom of the 5th, 3 up, 3 down, 2 strikeouts, including an Ohtani strikeout. And then Betts lines out. That was the end of his night. Oh, sorry. He comes in the bottom of the 6th as well, 3 up, 3 down. That was the end of his night. Kind of crazy outing for McGill because first inning obviously gets tattooed. But after that, retires 15 of the next 16 batters he faces, which is kind of crazy. I definitely haven't seen that very often, at least from him anyway. And he ends up 6 innings, 3 earned runs at the end of the night. So it's like a quality start, which is pretty wild. Of course, you're kind of like MFing him because he had a terrible first inning. Like, it could have been 5-0 at this point. But nonetheless, you go into the latter part of the game here, up a run, so you feel pretty good. Waddle comes in the 7th, pitching for the Mets here. Don't see Waddle very often, but we know how thinly stretched this bullpen has been. Muncy lines out. Paez grounds out. Walks Kike, but then gets Edman to ground out to the pitcher. So the contact pitches for him was working pretty well in the 7th. Listen, if Waddle is I'm not a big fan of him. We haven't seen a lot of him, I guess, I suppose. But I think he's like a 30-year-old pitcher, came over from Chicago, I think. Not much, not highly touted, but nonetheless, he's getting the job done here. Who wasn't getting the job done at first was Reed Garrett. This is where I started dozing off, okay, during the game. But I remember having a heart attack because leadoff walk to Ohtani, gives up a single to Betts. And then there was a pass ball, which I don't know. I guess they scored a pass ball. I didn't realize. Watching it, you would think it's a wild pitch, honestly, by Garrett. But because of that, Ohtani moves on to third and Betts to second. So you have Freeman at the plate, runners second and third, no outs, dude. And Reed Garrett strikes out Freeman, gets Kiketer to ground out, and then strikes out Smith to end the inning. So, with no outs, runners second and third, Freeman at the plate, what looked like a time for the Dodgers to not only tie the game, but possibly take the lead here. Garrett kind of gets the job done. And after that Smith strikeout, he was absolutely just juiced up. And his ERA remains sub 1, which whatever it's at, probably a 0.5 now, which is crazy. So it was nice to see him get out of the inning. Who didn't get out, though, we go bottom of the 9th here. Kind of tough. Brazoban again, bullpen stretched thin. When you think of game 1, 2 against the Dodgers, you use plenty of bullpen guys, Diaz included, Stanek, Kranick, whatever. So you bring in Brazoban, who was used actually 2 days ago, threw 30 pitches, comes into the bottom of the 9th. And a lot of people, even the broadcast, Keith, not sure if this was really the right move. But I don't know.
Keith complaining?
Who
did? But in all seriousness, who did they suggest to come in?
No, they really couldn't. That was the whole thing. That's
okay.
the point. There really isn't. You can try to you can try Buto. You're not going to bring in Diaz for a third straight game, I guess. I maybe would have thought about it. Kind of tough because he did blow a save, I guess. But I don't know. It's tough because you think Brazoban, 30 pitches thrown, that's probably not the best guy to pick.
Right.
But I guess who really was, I guess it really wasn't him, though, because unfortunately Max Muncy, second homer of the game, makes it 5-5. But then Brazoban settles down and gets, 3 strikeouts. So which kind of makes it a little bit worse, if in my opinion, I guess, because you can just do that. Max Muncy had to hit a home run off of you. And it was a fastball again, almost the exact same pitch that McGill threw at him, maybe a tick faster, but same location, and it went in the same spot.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Why would you throw him that pitch? Look at it. The first home run went 407 feet to right. This one 408 feet to right, and it was the same pitch. So I don't know why Brazoban threw that, but nonetheless, gets out of the inning. Tie game here. We go to extras. Scott comes in for the Dodgers, and what do these bullpen guys do typically for the Dodgers? They show up pretty big. Alonso strikes out, Soto strikes out, Nimmo grounds out. You're out of the inning, just like that. And then we go to the bottom of the 10th. We know what happened here, all right? Ohtani intentionally walked, which obviously is a good move here with Buto pitching. Betts lines out to left, which was good. It was good play by Nimmo, But then unfortunately, you get the ultimate mistake here by Brendan Nimmo. Freeman hits a ball deep left. Honestly, I kind of thought this ball went out, honestly. But it didn't. Hit the warning track. Nimmo tracking, loses his sight of the ball, I guess, is what he said.
Did he say the lights or no?
No, what he said is that he looked back at the wall to just check himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time he looked back up at the ball, it had moved about 15 feet to right. And he didn't think that was going to happen. So he could not adjust after that.
Is that kind of crazy to say or no?
I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy to say. Maybe. I guess. Obviously, it's a ridiculous mistake,
right?
But I guess he thought where he was in the field was where he was going to end up, and let me just check the wall. Okay, here's the wall, and then it obviously wasn't going to end up where he was at. So that was the problem, and this thing dropped on the warning track, which, again, at that point, Edmund was so far, it's over, So I don't know, dude. Even if he was caught, would he? I guess, yeah. You need to catch that. At the end of the day, it should have been an out. You could have lived to die another day, Brian. Okay,
you didn't.
But you didn't, dude. The ball dropped, and again, Edmund scores at that point. So, what are you gonna do? I guess
it's just on to the next one. At that
point. It is on. It has to be on to the next one. It's obviously a colossal mistake. But again, you're not going to sit here and blame Nimmo necessarily. Brazoban made a mistake as well. McGill could have had a better start to the game. There were mistakes all around here, which is why the Mets lost. So listen, at the end of the day, you lost to the Dodgers. You lost to them in extras. You're putting up a tremendous fight. You're looking way better against them than you were last season. You know, like I have way more confidence in a series against the Dodgers now than I did last year. So, you know, it's a 4-game set. You're obviously, you know, you're taking this almost as if it is a playoff series, honestly, because you got like 4 straight games against them. And this is what would happen in playoff series. You would win some, you would lose some. You know, you're not going to sweep the Dodgers, you know, especially when you're playing them, you know, on the road here. And not for nothing, dude, you're still, you know, 38 up and 23 down here. You're in the lead of the NL East, and you have a depleted bullpen and a depleted starting rotation.
I still just don't get why David Robertson is just not being called.
It is pretty wild, dude. I mean,
nobody's calling him.
I was just saying, nobody's calling him, so maybe it's a issue with him.
The Phillies, I guess, supposedly did 2 weeks ago, but then nothing. I don't know. Nothing came to fruition. I don't know if it was like minimum deals, and maybe that's what it is. That, you know, it's one of those things. He's not getting out of bed unless he's getting a guaranteed few $1 million. I mean, do you think that's culpable given his age? He's probably earned enough money where he doesn't need to pitch. And also, though, he might feel too that like the call is going to come eventually, so he'll wait till he gets the money that he wants.
I would think so. Again, I mean, I think that he's, you know, I think like you said, I mean, I think he's thinking that a lot of teams would be interested in a bullpen arm like himself, which I think is true. So I think he's just playing his cards right now, and honestly, he deserves the money, right? I mean, I think he would be good.
But I feel like it's going to be one of those things. I could see the Mets signing him and then just Dave like lauding Stern, saying, you know, they didn't have to give up anything. It just cost you money, filling a need, right? I mean, that might happen before we get to the Beach Bash. I mean, not the Beach Bash, but the tailgate next week.
I mean, I suppose, dude, but I mean, nonetheless, I mean, not for nothing. Like, I mean, Stern's, you know, the bullpen pieces he's brought in and the pitching guys he's gotten, I mean, they've all kind of worked out for him. So, I mean, if he thinks that, I mean, honestly, maybe that's why Robertson hasn't been picked by the Mets, hasn't been picked up, you know, like maybe because Stearns doesn't really like him.
But don't you think, because like I even feel this way with the Yankees sometimes, and I think they've done a good job of in between where you do see the potential. It's not like they're just literally picking up scrubs that like, you know, you're really kind of going out on the limb thinking you're going to turn them around. But I just think when you go so off-brand, like, you know what I mean, that it just eventually that catches up with you. And especially bullpen late in the games, I feel like you got to just have, like, even though the Yankees have built some guys back up, you still have to have those guys that are established with track records. And I feel like other than Diaz, they don't have that. And I think that's what you would think the focus would be come trade deadline. I mean, obviously we're a while away till then. But.
No, yeah, again, I mean, if not for nothing, if Soto is continuing to heat up and you're scoring lots of runs here, like replenish the bullpen and possibly a rotation, depending on what that looks like at the deadline, you know?
Right.
Like what the
hell? You know, so it'll be, would you say fascinating or no?
What
they do?
Yeah, of course it's fascinating.
Now that you kind of got to get it off your chest, recapped it one more time. I mean, is the sting any less, or it's not going to be till the 27th outs made tonight with a W?
I was going to say, yeah, it's a win tonight. That's going to make it a lot better. It's honestly at this point winning the series.
Are you going the distance tonight with it?
Yeah, maybe. We got a late shoot tonight, and then I'll probably be back here for Gaming Corner, so I'll probably have it on at that point here. So I'll try my best, you know?
Yeah. But like, obviously want to get some Z's in at the same time.
Yeah.
Hoping
I mean,
it's 7-0 and then you could go to bed type of
exactly. Yeah, that'd be great. But also tomorrow's not really necessarily a late night. So, I mean, I could maybe just like chalk it up one more night, figure it out, and then tomorrow get some rest, you know?
Yeah. Because you could go to bed at 7:30 after the game's over tomorrow?
Exactly, dude. 7:30 asleep tomorrow would be wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're earning for it, I guess you could say.
Get the full 12 hours. Kick your headphones out.
I feel like I really messed something up here.
Really? Like, should I come over there?
No. You know what threw me off? Just the wire.
What are you, like, playing with that thing? Like,
I guess that's what happened. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But we're good. We're good.
Okay, all right, we're good.
Picks. What do we got for picks?
Oh, I got an update here. I mean, I know we both went 1-1 with the Yanks and the Mets.
Excited the over.
That's right.
As always.
And then you had Miami in the under.
I know Miami won and probably didn't go under.
No, Miami lost.
No, I thought Miami did.
Because
the Rockies are going for the sweep today.
No, but that did go under. But again, it's a 1-1.
It's a 1-1. Yep. So another 1-1 right there.
Yeah, first series win for the Rockies.
And then you had
congratulations, right?
Yes.
Congratulations, Rockies.
Yes. Miami. That's so tough, dude. And then Phillies in the over. So let's go, dude. The 2-0 with that spot.
Okay,
right there.
so what? 4-2.
So you're 4-2.
All right.
All right. And I had the Cubs in the over. Okay, so that hit. And then I had the D-backs and the under.
Corbin Burns, maybe Tommy. That's tough.
That is really tough, dude. And D-backs won with the over, so that was a 1-1 spot. So I also went 4-2.
Yeah. So no blood. Tight. Things tight as always, right?
Yeah, dude. Very tight. Very tight. No bloodshed here. So that would put me at what, 33. And 33.
And
then you're 30. What is that? 3 and then 1, 31. That's right, because I remain the 2
31
games
and 35.
31 and 35.
All right, more ground to cover tonight. I do see we have a couple Ernie and Buttka comments here.
Dude. Let's see here. Ernie says a lot of Mets fans got cafes or lounges for cold brew more than Yankee fans. LOL. They prefer some tea time.
Tea time?
Yeah, I don't know. I think TEA, not like golf.
No,
tea.
I
don't know, Ernie. I think maybe you should maybe stop talking to Buttka so late night and write some more material or something, dude.
Wow.
Speaking of that, yeah, baby. Buttka says, I simply can't wait for the 12th. Ernie and I sitting next to each other in Citi Field. And then Ernie says, what, I didn't care about that, Buttka. We will see, like I said. Michael Buttka says Mets are stuck in 1986. Thanks, Michael, because that means they're going to win the World Series this year. Because they did that.
Boy.
They did that in
Things
86.
They
did that in 86, Michael.
Testy right now, Tony.
Stuck in 86, dude. Well, I think the lack of sleep and
then also, I mean, Ernie not committing to the Buttka seat as well.
You got to be careful,
Yeah.
I mean,
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do is right.
But I think it would be a good time to strike up the music.
Oh, yes.
Another MLB six-pack pick segment brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm. I always forget, Tony, but am I starting?
You are starting leadoff.
All right, and we're leading off back at Yankee Stadium. We talked about the pitching matchup. 7:05, Clark Schmidt, Luis Ortiz. Yankees looking to grab their 8th series in 9 tries here. And I think the key, of course, is, Clark Schmidt giving them a solid 6 innings, which I have full confidence, he'll be able to do. I think I see it being 6 innings and 1 earned. So a similar start to Rodon, doesn't get the extra inning. Maybe not the K's. I think maybe like a 4 or 5 strikeout night for Clark. But the offense, I think, backs him up. I'm going to say this, Austin Wells, who got the night off last night, I would say take him for a homer, Ernie, and Cody Bellinger. So the lefties take advantage of the porch there. I think a little more offense than last night as well. But I say because of the stout Yankee pitching, the total will go under, but the Yankees will score a good amount of runs here. I'm going to say they'll win this game 6-2. So give me the Yankees and the under.
Yankees and the under there for you, dude. For me, we're going back to the well. Obviously, Mets. And honestly, dude, I would hammer the Mets and the over again today. Griffin Canning towing the slab against Tony Gonsolin, dude. Griffin Canning, both pitchers actually recently pitched against each other in the previous series here. Griffin Canning not doing well, dude. 2 2/3, 3 earned runs with 4 walks. Last time out against the Dodgers, he's issued 8 walks in his last 2 starts here, and has only pitched 5 2/3 in his last 2 starts, and has given up 6 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Not good, Brian.
What about his last 2 starts?
His last 2 starts have sucked ass, dude. His last good start was, I guess you could arguably say, well, you can definitively say against the Cubs, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 5 Ks. Pitched okay against the Yankees as well. But then I guess, last 2 starts, not good here. But I would imagine maybe tonight, clean it up. Hopefully the control is there. Limit the walks. Limit the damage. And I think Canning could get through 5 innings, dude, with maybe 2 or 3 earned runs. I think that's what we're looking for. That's the goal. You'll have some bullpen pieces back tonight. You'll have Diaz. I guess maybe you can use Garrett back-to-back, but you'll have Kranick. You'll have Stanek to use. I like that.
Stanek.
Kranick and Stanek, dude. Get that on a T-shirt, all right? Tony Gonsolin, last time he pitched against the Mets, also not great by any means. 4 earned runs, over 5 innings pitched. So definitely hittable. Also got trouble in some walks as well, 3 of them. I know he didn't pitch well against the Yankees, I think, either. Gives up a lot of earned runs. Bats will be flying. Soto, back-to-back days, back-to-back home runs. Book that bet. Ernie, okay? Gonsolin maybe last 5, gives up 5 of his own. Like I said, Mets bullpen cleans it up. Maybe a late homer by Lindor. Alonso 3 for 4 with 3 ribbies, dude. Mets go on to win this one. I'm going to say 8-4. No extra innings. Book that, baby. Let's go.
All right. Shout out to our buddy John Pollock. We're going to Chicago.
He needs it.
Yes, the animosity over the 8-1 defeat at the hands of the Chicago White Sox last night. However, I would say greener pastures ahead. And how about this? Sawyer Gibson-Long making his first appearance of the season. First appearance in the major league since 2023. So towing the slab from Detroit, an undecided pitcher for Chicago. But I think the Tigers will easily win this game. Total set at 8.5. I think the Tigers come out swinging. And I think it's going to be the Tigers in the over. I'm going to say they win. Let's go 9-3. Tigers in the over.
Tigers and the over. I think we're going to go to Fenway here tonight, dude. Or today, I should say. 1:35 p.m. start. Sorry, let me just say Tigers in the over, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure I write that down. Lucas Giolito towing the slab here for Boston. Cora, I know the words, whatever. I say they respond well. Why not, dude? I'll double down. I think that was a good move. Show me why I shouldn't be telling the media, okay, that you're not living up to the hype. Let's freaking go. Soriano, I guess, starting here, 4-5, 3.41 ERA. Giolito not having a good year by any means, 4.78. You could really argue that for a few seasons with him. But nonetheless, I think he fans 9 Angels tonight, goes 7 innings, gives up maybe a 2-run homer to Taylor Ward. But nonetheless, dude, keeps it in the ballpark, dude. Red Sox, over-under is 10.5 here. That's pretty interesting. I'm going to hammer the under. Red Sox put up a 6 spot. They win this game. I'll say maybe 8-2, which will put you right on the under. Red Sox in the under, dude.
Jeez. Can't believe you took that game.
Really,
that makes as much sense as taking the Pirates against Houston. So that's why I'm going to take the Astros here at PNC Park. Ryan Gusto getting the start for Houston. 3-2, 4.62. Going up against Mike Burrows, 0-1, 8.64. And the Pirates, I mean, are a dumpster fire, losing another skiing start yesterday. They've lost 3 out of their last 4. Astros have won 3 out of their last 4, including 3-0 yesterday. And I think this one, they come out swinging. And I think it's decisive. I think it's the over. And I think Houston will win this game. Let's say 9-2. It's going to be the Astros and the over.
Wow, dude. Can't believe you picked that game.
I mean, it's different. Red Sox.
Oh, dude. Hey, listen, I'm biased picks here, okay? I'm going for the Dubs.
I am going for the Dubs, but that's honestly why more so I picked the Astros, even though I hate the Astros. Pirates suck, and so do the Red Sox.
And so do the Red Sox, dude. And so does the Nationals. Dude, Trevor Williams pitched yesterday, got popped.
But Mackenzie Gore, be careful.
Oh, dude, but I'm going with Matt Boyd. He's been doing all right for me in fantasy, dude. Pushing some good starts, getting some Ks, dude. Keeping the ERA low, 3.08 now it's down for him. And obviously Cubs, we know, have the offense. PCA, anytime homer. Why not, dude? Over on the amount of bags reached for him. Doesn't matter. Cubs win this one. I'll say lower scoring. I'll say 4-2. So give me Cubs in the under here. And I guess that'll do it for me, dude.
All right. And just like that, it is your MLB 6-pack pick segment here, brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm. So, like I said, excited for some more Yankee baseball tonight.
Pumped.
Let's keep the good times rolling. And before we get to the grid, I know we have a couple more comments. Bucket kind of talking to himself.
Is he talking to himself?
I don't know.
Let's see. He says, nah, not until 2086. He says they're going to win a World Series. He says he'll be in his retirement home by then.
Wow.
Tony, there's no chance I will stop having late night contact with Ernie. He says Mets will lose 12-2 last night.
I can tell you're getting a little agitated.
I mean, what am I going to say?
I hear it in your tone, Tony.
Like, I know the facts, okay? Buckta does not. I question the amount of innings Buckta has watched this season of baseball. I don't know, man. It's just kind of one of those things, like you said, Matthew Ryan territory, where it's just like, I mean, I can argue, I guess, but to channel Josh B, like, what good is that going to do?
Right.
Right. And then Michael Buckta says, but Barnes, we can't root for the Red Sox over the Mets. I can't support a Boston sports team, period.
I mean, easy. You don't root for either. And then he says, last night said it all. The Tiger.
I mean, but you've rooting for the Mets over the Red Sox?
Huh?
You when in that series, you're rooting for the Mets.
No,
against the Red Sox.
No. But I'm not talking about facing each other. I'm just saying, just generally speaking, yes, there's exception with divisional play, Tony. Like, we understand that, but the division is not in question. But I will still take divisional losses anytime they come. But there's a difference between, needing a loss for divisional records and actually rooting for a team.
Yeah, but that's like every game, though, right? Wouldn't you give you the choose between Mets winning?
Right, but I think it just generally speaking, yes, there's exceptions, but fuck this team, fuck that team. That's what I'm saying. And he's saying 100% the Mets over the Red Sox. And it's like, well, again, Michael, it just depends on the situation. Divisional, Tony, right?
Yes, dude. Divisional play.
Anyway, let's check up the.
Let's freaking go, dude. Get the music back up. Here we go. Get this.
A little bit of a somber tone.
Here,
I think the Michael Buckta calls again, Gio.
I mean, listen, dude. He's gonna.
He's asking for it. Or no?
Like I'm worried about you and Kev. Like maybe I should worry about me and Buckta on the 12th.
Or Buckta. I mean, Ernie non-committal on the seat. I mean, things are up in the air, right?
Oh man, dude. Oh man, dude. All right. Let's focus here, dude.
Yeah. So a lot of
Pirates,
a lot of different places to go here.
So Pirates, Miami. I'm pretty sure we've done a Lou for that.
Pirates in Miami.
I'm pretty sure
I always forget that he played there.
I do just want to shout out Bobby Bonilla.
I was gonna say we do
Bonilla.
Yeah, and so was Marte, but Marte's probably really high because I've done Marte for that.
I think
before.
we did Marte for that as well.
But I guess you could do
Donaldson for the Guardians and the Blue Jays as well.
You want to do that?
Rajah Davis or do Rajah Davis, right?
Rajah Davis?
Yeah.
That seems to be a favorite in the past week or so. Rajah, dude, 2%.
2%. There we go.
I think you can probably do a Lou for Pittsburgh and career homers, right?
But that has to be with the team, doesn't it?
No, it's just
career. It's career homers, right? If it was in the same season, it would have to be with the
player
same
must
team?
have 300 homers in his career. When paired with the team, they must have played at least one game with that team in their career. Okay.
Yeah.
So go Lou.
Moises Alou.
0.9.
I kind of thought that'd be way higher, to be honest.
I know for Blue Jays, we don't do Josh Donaldson. That's for sure.
Definitely not, dude. But you could do Carlos Delgado.
Could do Carlos Delgado, but it's not going to be high.
I don't know, dude.
Something to.
I was playing a little MLB The Show 08 on the PSP, dude. Delgado on the Mets. Sick.
So he was really good on the Mets.
Yeah. Sorry, what do you got?
Speaking of the Mets, how about Piazza for first base and 300 homers?
There we go, dude. Michael Piazza. Bang. 2%. Let's go, dude.
There we go. First base for the Marlins. How about Jesus Aguilar, Tony?
First base, Marlins.
One over, yep.
Aguilar, dude. 6%, not bad.
I thought it would be lower.
I thought it would be 2. You could have done Josh Bell, maybe. I guess. I don't know if that would be
Russell
more,
Branyan played first for the Cleveland or no?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously you have the Travis Hafners.
So.
I feel like Branyan did, but I'm not like just trying to think about this for a second.
Oh, we could have done Bonilla too.
No, do Branyan. Do Branyan.
Wait, sorry. Who do you want to do for Cleveland?
Russell Branyan.
Brand.
I feel like that's an Ernie too. It's BRANYAN.
Why? Oh, there. Okay, interesting. 0.5.
There we
dude.
go. There we go. There we go.
I know Al Leiter played for both Toronto and Miami.
Yeah. Watch 39.
You think that's too much?
I don't know.
Because you also could do Delgado. Like
Delgado, you don't always think about with the Marlins. I feel like do that one. Actually.
Okay.
But now that's going to be high.
That'd be your fault.
10. All right. I mean, it's not crazy, right?
It'd be interesting to see what Al was.
Just trying to think about other. I feel like Gloss has 300 home runs.
Oh God, I don't know for sure, dude.
I feel like that would be a good one though, no?
Yeah,
do Gloss. Do Gloss.
Do Gloss.
Yeah.
GLAU. Troy Gloss.
There we go.
1%, dude. There we go.
All right.
And
so we got what? Pittsburgh and Miami, and then Pittsburgh.
You want to do Bonilla for?
Yeah, do Bonilla.
Bobby. Oh, fucking shit.
Killing
23%,
the whole grid.
dude.
And
I
then-
wouldn't think it would be that much. What the fudge?
I know. And then Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Kind of a tough one or no?
Yeah, dude. Pittsburgh would be
It
like
seems like
Bart or.
It seems like a Yurney spot.
It does. I actually haven't checked the comments. Have you?
No, nothing though from him.
Oh, nothing from anybody, dude.
Yeah.
Not even Michael Buck did, dude. When we need him the most.
Well,
Wow, we are left to our own devices here, dude.
we'll figure it out. Jose Mesa. There it is. ESA.
Jose. 48.
Okay,
dude.
and it really would have been outstanding if it wasn't for that, you know. But I guess what are we gonna do? Right?
Still seems kind of high.
Well,
23%.
it would, but we had a 10.
Yeah,
I
the
think
10.
that's why. So that's 30% right there. But
Yeah.
if you took those out,
And the 6. Yeah.
some new
yeah.
ones in. But I think overall, I mean, you know what I mean? You think about how far we've come.
Oh,
we were
Bonilla was the
complaining-
highest, dude. You think
Yeah.
Marte would be the highest?
Yeah. No, but I think it's just because, I don't know. I think Bonilla, after his career has ended, you know,
Mhm.
has gotten more
Notoriety.
popular because of the whole contract.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, before we move on here, anything specific tonight that you feel is a key to the Mets taking this game over the Dodgers?
I mean, I'm anticipating, you know, Griffin Canning not having the most tremendous outing. So I would say it's offense, you know. Early and often, good at bats is really what you want. I mean, you know, we've seen how often the Mets can win when you know Lindor is hitting the ball out of the park. And obviously, to couple that, I mean, we want to see Soto continuing to be productive offensively. So I would say the key is going to be offense, dude. You're going to have to score a lot of runs to win this game.
Yeah.
So
And, you know, I think for the Yankees, I mean, obviously we want to see the offense, but I also think Clark Schmidt setting the tone. You know, obviously we're down Weaver in the bullpen. Williams won't pitch today. You know, so it'd be nice if he could give them some length. And, you know, as they've been all season, I'm confident this offense will back him up, you know, wholeheartedly. I wouldn't be surprised if Jazz has another game. I think he's just jacked. And I think the time away really energized him. And we're going to see a different Jazz Chisholm Jr. here in the month of June. A couple comments here. We got JD in the building. So
hell
great to
yeah,
have JD
dude.
here.
Barnes with the custom Yankee shirt, evening wear? Question mark.
I think it's anytime word, JD.
Come
You
on.
know, I mean, I've always said it. Anything with the Yankee emblem is pure gold, JD. So it will play anytime. But definitely great to have JD here. And he was in the group chat with us talking about the Yankee win last night. And we all agreed LeMahieu, second base, liability, Tony.
Bang.
Come on.
He is. Speaking of the liability here, Bukta says he's going to bet $200. There's only going to be 1,000 people in attendance on the 12th, dude. I'll take that bet, Michael.
I'm just saying, Michael. I mean, listen, like I said before, I'm not saying I'm not getting a chuckle out of this. But I think you're kind of towing the line here with Tony. He's always been a good sport with you. I don't know. I think you're ruffling some feathers here.
Yeah, he certainly is, dude. And like I said, take that bet. I'll give you like 1,000,000 to 1 odds too, Michael.
Yeah.
All right? 1,000,000.
I will as well.
Yeah. He says he doesn't give an F about what happens to Hurley and the Knicks, dude. I've let Hurley off the hook by a lot. Lakers' main priority are Hurley no longer my attention. It's all about Luka now, he says, dude. And then JD says anytime where for the Lynx, pure gold.
Yes. Today would have been a great day for the Lynx. Not in the cards though, Tony, but we'll be back out there tomorrow. But I honestly want to get some more Yankee polls. I don't have enough. You never have enough.
Never have enough.
That's really the jerseys. You just never do.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael Buck is asking me my thoughts. I don't know if it's all about Luka, to be honest, Michael. And I've mentioned this many times, but I enjoy college basketball more than the monogamy of the NBA. And yeah, I mean, it's like the Knicks run was fun. But like, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know how much of this show you caught this morning, but I was like just almost like a little like annoyed this morning. When I get it, because I mean you have to talk about it. Like the Thibodeau news came out yesterday.
It was the whole show,
right? It's like I don't know. I get like turned off when it's like too much NBA.
Like
I don't need that much NBA.
It's like, dude, they do a whole segment on it, and it's like when we come back from break, we're on to the Knicks.
Yeah, it's like let's talk about baseball for 2 seconds.
But also, I mean, do you think that Hurley is going to be looked at by the Knicks?
I think he's going to be looked at, and I was saying this yesterday to a couple of people. If he ever was going to go, this would be the opportunity because he's mentioned many times how much him and his family value living in the northeast quadrant of the country. But I just feel like too. I mean, you're the king in Stores, Connecticut. To leave to go to the Knicks, I mean, he's already jacked up and gets tight as it is, Tony. Reporters in his face. I don't know. To go from where he can't do wrong to an opportunity where he might feel like he can't do right at certain times, depending on if the Knicks go on a bad streak.
I mean, don't you think he caught some slack this year, though?
Not really.
I mean, the taunting the crowd.
But he could have went 0-24. You win back-to-back titles. You're a Hall of Fame basketball coach, especially college basketball. How hard it is to win in the college ranks. He will have a statue one day in Stores, and I think they will always do anything they can to keep them paying as much as possible as they can to keep him. So I think you go to the Knicks. I mean, sure, you probably make a lot more money. But I don't know if he can handle the amount of losing that he will have in the NBA. I mean, you think about it, bad year in college, you're losing 10 times. NBA, I mean, you might lose between 20 and 25 times. I mean, that's a lot more losing. We've seen how jacked up he gets. And I don't know if that style necessarily translates.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we do have Michael Theophil in the house. As I called it, he's going. You know it. I know it. Always ahead and on top of it, he says.
He did say it.
He did say it. And he says, I'd like him or Mark Jackson and Van Gundy as the assistant. And then JD says, Stan and Jackson. Hell no. And Michael Buckner says he has temper problems.
Yeah, Stan Van Gundy. Oof. I mean, just as a player, that voice in your ear, I mean, that would be rough. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say, Michael, he doesn't know his basketball. And he's had success in the league before, but his voice for me just does it. Oh, and he does say Jeff. Okay. So that's, I do like that. I've always liked Jeff Van Gundy. I was going to say, cause I feel like me and him have cracked up about how annoying Stan Van Gundy is. And I did always like Mark Jackson too, but I don't know. I guess he ruffles feathers wrong. But what do you think, Tony? Hurley. Like, do you
we know, Buckner. You're so obsessed with Hurley still, dude. What happened?
No, but I'm telling you, like, there's a little animosity here going on between.
Oh yeah, man. I mean,
and Michael Buckner
taking blind shots at the Mets. You can't just be doing that.
And then Michael's saying Sin is annoying fuck. But do you think that would work? Hurley in Madison Square Garden. I mean, obviously it's worked at UConn, but with the Knicks.
I mean, it's tough, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's an entirely different level of coaching. I don't know. I would probably say no.
Just because, I mean, the track record of a college coach having success in the NBA.
Yeah, and also just like, I don't know. I mean, I really do question on whether or not the players think that this is the right move. I mean, what like
Jalen just said. I mean, when they asked him, is Thibs the right guy?
Thibs is the guy.
Serious question?
Yeah, it's like a serious question. Like, Thibs is the guy. So it's like, again, if you want to say what you will about that, I mean, right now I have to believe what he said to be true because he said it. I'm not going to just assume like, he was just like, whatever. So I would imagine that, different coaching style of Hurley, I guess. It's just, I don't know. It's so tough. I would say Hurley doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I mean, like we said, too, it's about, the other pieces that are going to be brought in around. I mean,
and I could see him kind of doing what he did with the Lakers last year, where it's like the interview, the courting, the Peter Luger's lunch, and then the 7th hour, just pulling out.
Peter Luger sounds so good.
I know. Ever since they brought it up at DNR, it's like I have
to
try that. Is there any? I don't know if you would know this or the location that you went to. Is that at all close to Madison Square Garden?
I mean, you're talking like Midtown-ish. It can't be that far.
Because maybe we'll have to win a couple Ernie prop bets.
Yeah, dude.
But that would be a nice tie-in with like a Rangers game.
Let's see where. Let's look this up. Peter Luger Steakhouse.
Also, while you're looking that up, JD says new blood in New York, no Jeff, new voices in the building, new energy, and I think that's true. Because Thibs, I think, had roots back to the Van Gundy days as well. So new energy, definitely not a bad idea. So, I mean, I think, there's a lot of guys that you'd have in mind, but I have to say too, given how swift this decision was made, you would think it must be down to a couple of people, at this point, and that there would be some action soon. So we should know something. And then also Butka, of course, he's less obsessed with Luka, thrashing Hurley. If he's the Knicks coach and the Lakers play him, honestly, I hope he goes to the Knicks. It may or may not happen. He definitely doesn't hope he goes to the Knicks. But
30-minute train ride.
Okay, so I mean, not exactly a stone's throw, almost like the joke about walking from the new studio to Luger's for lunch.
Yes,
RJ,
basically.
Yeah,
I wonder where their studio is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it would be somewhere around Madison Square Garden, honestly, right? It's probably somewhere around
it doesn't seem too far. Good morning, Nelson. And then Michael trying to sell himself here, saying that he 100% means it about he doesn't care about Hurley. He hopes he goes to the Knicks. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No, he doesn't, Tony.
I don't know, though. I mean, I think he forgot about Tatum, like, pretty quickly,
Yeah, but that's a dislike. You don't immortalize somebody, have your Facebook picture with them, talk about bald men for a year, and then just goes away.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there.
Happens. But anyway, Tony, let's take a little trip here to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots top shelf. He scores! Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle break. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Washington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net between the legs and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak.
The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So we finally have game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. It feels like there hasn't been a hockey game. And I know Tommy, I see, is watching us on Instagram. And I know he in the chat was saying, happy, game 1 Stanley Cup Finals, all follow. For you, I mean, I know you've been into it more so than the average person. Same thing goes for Tommy. But do you think the layoff at all, Tony, has taken any juice?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not, dude. I'm stoked for the finals, dude. This is gonna be sick. Like, I'm gonna have it on tonight. Like, when we get back, like, I'm gonna have the Mets and the Cup final game on for sure, dude. And this is gonna be a great weekend coming up for sports, dude.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I don't know if it's just. I mean, it's
kind of rematch of last season too.
Tradition for me. Like, I'll say it again. It's like with this series. If I were to not be able to watch any of it, that would be okay. But it's like Yankees aren't on. I mean, I would rather watch that than the NBA Finals. And I think it'll be good. But I think it's just a Ranger disappointment, Tony. I'm not gonna lie, because I just think they should be in the spot. They're not. So it just, for me, it definitely takes a little juice away. And I think probably the same goes for this Indiana and Oklahoma City series for Knicks fans, right?
Yeah, no, I can see that.
I mean, I know that's more fresh, just happened, team you played, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it was a bad job of the NHL having this long layoff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree. I don't disagree with that, because I think we should be games in here. I mean, that would be great, but obviously, like you said, TV deals, whatever, the money, dude. I mean, this is just the situation, unfortunately, but I don't know. I think I think you should look at the game, dude. I mean, it's going to be a high octane level of play here, like the Panthers, in the playoffs are just absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, Oilers here, the storyline trying to like get some revenge here. And I mean, not for nothing. I mean, I remember this series last year. I remember the Cup final, dude. It was such a crazy back and forth with Florida going up 3-0 and then Edmonton winning 3 straight and then having that obviously the game 7 here where you really just I remember thinking like, well, I really have no idea who would win this game, to be honest.
Right.
Like it's absolutely outstanding the level of hockey these two teams play against each other. And I guess, we'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be great hockey nonetheless.
I know, and I think it will be great hockey. I guess what I'm saying is like, I will watch it if time allows, situational, but I'm not going to go out of my way for it.
All right.
But I do think, I mean, especially for a fan like Tommy, I know he's definitely jacked up. I would not doubt that at all. Anyway, just in terms of this game, series, and also too, actually, before you do your prediction, because I know you mentioned about like the high octane offense and stuff. So given the high octane of Florida, are you not anticipating that the Oilers' stout defense that we saw last series against the Stars continues here?
No, I think so. I mean, they have had great defense. I think Hyman is out, right? I mean, they're dealing with some injuries. Zach Hyman out. That's tough. I guess that's kind of Brown is day to day, but I think losing some of those heavier forwards, some of those back checking forwards is gonna, I think, obviously help the Panthers at that point. And honestly, dude, I mean, I think Skinner to me is still a little bit of a wild card. And it's crazy because he was a big part in why they were able to go 7 last season. In the Cup final, I think like a 909 saving percentage, like which for him is a lot. I mean, his career playoff percentage has got to be below 900. Mm-hmm. So, for him to step up big in that series last year was obviously huge. But I don't know, man. I mean, no doubt that the Oilers will have good defense. No doubt that the Skinner, may have a good game and play a little bit above his level, but I don't know. I think, people are forgetting, the Panthers defense as well. I mean, they shut out the Oilers, I believe, just once in the Cup final last year. I think it was out of the game 1 or 2. It was one of their first couple of wins. So, I mean, they have the power to do that as well. And I don't know. I just think right now, Panthers between Reinhart and Verhaeghe and obviously Kachuk too. I mean, those guys, I think they have more. I think the odds are that they're going to at least win game 1. I do have them winning this series as well. Will it go 7? I mean, it certainly could. But I think it's going to be a fight, no doubt. I mean, again, yes, Oilers better team than last year, yes, but I mean, not for nothing, so are the Panthers right now. The way they're playing this playoffs is absolutely outstanding,
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And not to go back to it again, but would you say fascinating series coming up? Or?
Yes, very, very fascinating, dude.
And let's hear like a prediction for tonight. And then I know we've kind of done this before, but obviously chance for revision here. Prediction for the series.
I think tonight it's going to be a little bit of a test each other out type of night. In terms of offensive opportunities and stuff like that. The physicality will be there. You'll probably see a lot of guys button heads, a lot of extracurriculars post whistle, especially with Edmonton. I would imagine that they're going to have a huge chip on their shoulder. But I think it's low scoring. I think you're going to see the Panthers take this first game on the road, though, 2-1. 2-1, dude. Yes, like I said, very low scoring. I think I would say Draisaitl, the lone goal scorer there for Edmonton. McDavid there on the assists. He's obviously leading the postseason in points. I'm pretty sure he must have led the Cup final in points too last season too, with the amount of assists and goals that he had. But at the end of the day, I think it's Bobrovsky, 33 of 33 in net. Skinner does a good job, maybe like a 29 of 31 or something like that. But you're going to see Kachuk and Barkov with the 2 goals for the Panthers. And I say it's Barkov early in the third to put them up 2-1. And the Panthers able to close it out. Like I said, Bob, good night there. And then, they move on to game 2.
I think it's Connor McDavid saying good night, Tony. I
Wow.
think defensive game, like you said. But I think honestly, it's like a 2-0 game, midway through the third period.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, with like 9 minutes remaining, McDavid is second of the game. 3-0. And then I think they end up winning like 4-1, kind of just cruising from there.
Okay.
Game never in doubt. And I think the Oilers are saying we're a different team this year. And we remember that Game 7 loss. So I think that, and I think Oilers in 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would take Panthers in 7, by the way.
So
how about ESPN with this great video here? It says Kachuk preview Stanley Cup final rematch, and it's Leon Draisaitl talking.
Oh, yeah. No,
how about that, dude?
That's ESPN, though.
Great job, ESPN.
Yeah.
Real fucking good.
Real good stuff there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And you know, that's really where we're at. What is on tap for Gaming Corner tonight?
So I believe Michael and Joey are finishing off Last of Us Part 2. Like I said, Renee and I will be at a shoot, so you will be sans Tony here.
No, like late, like
no, yeah, I'll be back probably around 9 or something.
Oh, so you'll jump in.
Yeah, no, I may play or may not. You know, depending on.
Say hi at least.
I'm definitely gonna pop in, say hi.
Ooh, sometimes this chair, I have to say, with the tailbone. Wow, I don't know if that's ever happened to you.
No,
like
tough.
With the Gaming Corner, yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Well, we don't
just because I don't move for like 90 minutes.
For the gaming, I switched these 2 chairs out.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Because it's
Oh no, that's the chair. Like when I like. That's why tomorrow I'll have that chair, and that chair is so comfy.
You may have it tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
You may not have
Classic
it tomorrow.
Editing Day?
Actually, no, I'll be in studio today.
In
Thursday,
studio tomorrow.
Rather.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Just
Thursday.
Mets, 4-game set, Dodgers want to be there kind of thing?
Dialed in. We actually have some
Stanley
guests. Stanley Cup, yes, dude. Want to be dialed in. We have some guests coming into the studio touring tomorrow.
Gotcha.
So
you'll be here anyway. Might as well do it.
Michael can get some extra rest because he's on top of the tours, you know?
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
Dude. So you'll have me tomorrow, dude.
There we go.
No Dan, though. Work from home.
Yeah, I'll be home tomorrow.
Work from home.
He's going on a big vacation, actually.
Yeah, I go to Portugal.
Oh, wow.
So fly out tomorrow night.
That's awesome. I've heard a lot of good things. Never been, but definitely have heard some good stuff. So
yeah.
Pumped. Just any like VPN or anything to get the Yankees out there?
Nah, I'm not planning on it yet.
Yeah.
We'll see how things go.
Maybe you'll stumble like upon an American sports bar or something.
Yeah.
Have some games going.
Because Dave's just was talking. Where the heck is he? Oh no, but that's for like football down the line. But I forgot. Did you hear him talking about that this morning?
No,
he's going. I think St. Martin or something. And he just
nice, dude.
Like the NFL Sunday ticket package and stuff.
Yeah,
like it's just a sports book there, and his wife's like, "Oh, is that really a good idea? You in a sports book all day?" So
it's not. It's not a good idea.
No. But that'll be awesome. Definitely enjoy the trip, man. But yeah, so I guess that's where we're at. But definitely a great show today.
Hell yeah!
Really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives of the YouTube page, Tony Michael Renee and Jay Costa, and the merch at DowntimeTV.com. Almost at it. But we want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy Gaming Corner. Let's go Yankees, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.